Good morning, students. Today I am going to discuss with you determinants of financing decisions in merger. Before starting with before starting with determinants of financing decision, I will discuss with you meaning of financing decision. What do you mean by financing decision? Financing decisions means decisions relating to finance, from where, how we are going to raise the funds, or we can say कि financing decision also means कि proportion of debt and equity, how much debt, how much equity, from where to raise, how to raise the funds or money for merger or acquisition purpose. There are various factors which are going to affect the financing decision, like profitability, size of firm, you can say, or family control, information, misevaluation of acquirer stock. All the things are there which can affect the financing decision, or we can say these are the factors which affect the financing decision in merger. First factor is family control. What do you mean by family control? How family control is going to affect financing decision? Let's suppose if a organization or firm is like majority of investment is private investment, or you can say family's investment is there, money invested from private sources. In that situation, such type of organization would like to avoid, you can say, equity financing. They will prefer raising money through issue of debt, because in case of equity financing, family firm shareholder would be highly sensitive to dilution in their control position. Definitely, if they will issue equity shares, their control will disperse in the organization. So they prefer to raise the money through issue of debt. Next factor which can affect the financing decision is firm misevaluation. What do you mean by firm misevaluation? For here, firm misevaluation means if you are overvaluing or undervaluing the stock or shares of your company. In that situation, that thing is also going to affect how you are going to raise the money or funds. If you are, for example, if acquirer prefer to finance transaction with equity when they consider their stock as overvalued. When they consider that stock is undervalued, in that situation, they prefer to finance with cash only. Next determinant for financing decision is profitability. Other factor which is going to affect the financing decision is firm's profitability. Financial leverage depends on firm's profitability. If firm is with high profitability means they are in position to service the debt regularly. High profitability means they are able to pay interest on regular basis. So they prefer to raise the money through issue of debt. And if situation is vice versa, if company is not earning good amount of profits, in that situation, they prefer to raise the money through issue of equity, because they are not in condition to service the debt on regular basis. That's why they will go for equity financing. In case of lower profitability, high profitability, they prefer higher debt. Other factor which is going to affect the financing decision is firm size. Large firms are highly leveraged firm. They prefer to raise money through issue of debt only. Leverage means issue of debt. Levered firm means use of more of debt in comparison to equity. If company, let's suppose if there is 100 rupees investment in company, for example, and 60 rupees company raised through issue of debt and 40 rupees is raised through issue of equity. That is, the company is levered firm. So what we will say if firm size is also one factor for deciding the financing decision, how they are going to raise the funds. Large firms prefer more debt and small firms prefer less debts. They prefer raising of money through equity. Next factor which is going to affect their financing decision is cash reserve. What company prefer before going to outside, company prefer to use their own resources. Cash reserve means retained earning. How much savings are there with company? If company is not having sufficient funds within organization, only in that situation company will go for external financing. Otherwise company will prefer to use the internal resources, provided internal resources are sufficient, provided retained earnings or cash reserves are sufficient with the company. Other determinant for financing decision is relative deal size ratio. Relative deal size ratio means exchange ratio क्या है? What is the ratio of exchange of two companies? Exchange ratio means how much shares we are, how many shares you are getting in return to your existing holding. How many shares you are, number of shares you are getting in return of your existing shareholdings. In this situation, relative deal size ratio is negatively associated to likelihood of cash financing. Equity rather than debt is more likely to finance the acquisition when relative deal ratio is high. If relative deal ratio is high, then it means they prefer equity financing, equity rather than debt. And vice versa, if relative deal ratio is low, in that situation, they will like to finance through debt than equity. Next factor and last factor which is going to affect the financing decision is cross-border acquisitions. Cross-border second last factor है. Cross-border acquisition. Cross-border acquisition means if merger or acquisition is take place between two companies, one is foreign company, foreign acquirer is there. In that situation, target shareholders avoid issue of equity. They want debt. Why? Because they want debt financing. Why? They want debt because in legal environment of two countries are maybe very different. In that situation, they prefer to raise the money through issue of debt only, not equity. They prefer debt. Last factor which is going to affect whether the firm is listed firm or unlisted firms. Equity financing is less likely to take place when the target firm is an unlisted firm. Since target shareholder, in that situation, target shareholder prefer cash payment to settle their problem of liquidity on different country. If company is listed firm, then they may take equity also, equity financing also. These are the factors which are going to affect the financing decision.